Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Jason Garcia. I'm the Recruiting Operations Officer for the Army ROTC Early Commissioning Program at New Mexico Military Institute. Thank you for joining us tonight to talk more about the Early Commissioning Program, where our cadets are on the fast track to becoming second lieutenants in the United States Army. The Early Commissioning Program is unique and is offered only at the military junior colleges. There are 5 across the country, and we are one of those 5. This program allows those of you who are ready to start your Army career a chance to train and become Army officers in only 2 years at New Mexico Military Institute, as opposed to the traditional 4-year Army ROTC cycle at a 4-year school. I'll start by saying that I'm an alum of this program, but more importantly, tonight we have some current cadets who are in the early commissioning program, as well as Second Lieutenant Cole, who's currently or recently graduated from our program and graduated from NMMI. Second Lieutenant Cole is temporarily assisting me this semester in recruiting while he's waiting to attend his officer basic course and then go on to serve on active duty in Korea. Our intent is to share all the aspects of the program and give you a little better understanding of what you can expect and what is expected of you. During this event, if you have any questions, please ask, and you can ask them on social media using hashtag NMMI ROTC. I'll answer them on the air as I get them. You can post them directly on the YouTube live page or post them publicly on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat using NMMI LIFE or LIFE. With that, let's get started, and we'll have Second Lieutenant Cole and Cadets Guab, Williams, and Lacasio introduce themselves. Lieutenant Cole?
Thank you, sir. My name is Lieutenant Cole. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I attended the school from 2013 to 2014, and I'm here serving as the Gold Bar recruiter.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Cadet Guab. I'm from Denton, Texas, and this is my 3rd semester here at NMMI.
Good evening, I'm Cadet Williams. I have been here for 2 years. I graduate in May, and I'm from Itasca, Texas.
Good evening, my name is Cadet Lacasio. I'm from Newton, New Jersey, and I'll be graduating in May of 2018.
Okay, great. With that, let's go ahead and get started. Cadet Guab, how did you learn about the early commissioning program and why did you choose it?
Yes, sir. I learned about the early commissioning program here at the New Mexico Military Institute because I had a very close family friend who went here, and he gave me a tour of the school, and I instantly fell in love with it. And can you repeat the last question, sir?
Why did you choose New Mexico Military Institute?
Right. Yes, sir. Okay. I chose it because unlike regular traditional ROTC programs, this school is 2 years rather than 4 years, and that just sounded very appealing to me, sir.
Okay, great. A different perspective. Cadet Lacasio, could you explain how you learned about the early commissioning program and then why you chose New Mexico Military Institute?
Yes, sir. So my experience, I think, was a little bit different from Cadet Guab's and Cadet Williams in that I attended and graduated high school here. So I knew about the program throughout high school, and I was actually part of the prep program. My plan was to attend one of the service academies, but the more that I found out about what New Mexico Military Institute's program had to offer and the way that you could commission after only 2 years and then focus more on your degree, and with me wanting to go into a medical field, I fell in love with the idea of being able to do both and having so many opportunities after I left here. So that's why I chose to come here for the ECP program.
Excellent. I just want to reiterate to those of you who are viewing tonight, if you have questions and would like to ask them through social media, use hashtag NMMI ROTC, and we will field those questions on the air. Cadet Williams, can you talk to us a little bit about what is expected of you in the early commissioning program?
Yes, sir. So time management is going to be one of the biggest things that you're going to need to focus on when you come here. You have to be able to balance academics, physical fitness, ROTC training, your core activities and responsibilities, your extracurricular activities, and anything else that is in your daily schedule. Above all, you're learning to be a leader, so time management, exercising your discipline, it's a lot to balance, but NMMI and ROTC both prepare you very well to learn how to do that.
So you're saying that New Mexico Military Institute has helped you develop your time management skills, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes,
All right, great. That's my experience as well. Cadet Lucasio, what has been one of the biggest challenges you've faced in the program, and how have you overcome it?
So I think that a lot like what Cadet Williams says, it's time management, it's learning to balance everything that is expected of you. And I think that you just have to be able to take a step back and analyze what's most important in that moment, and then be able to plan for the future. And I think that that's one of the greatest things that NMMI and the ROTC program offers you, is they teach you and they give you those skills to learn how to balance everything. And then that just helps you from there on. It helps you in your life, it helps you in school. And so it's definitely something you have to overcome, but both of these programs allow you to do it, and they help you through it. They want you to succeed.
Okay, good. Let's transition. Second Lieutenant Cole, as I mentioned earlier, you graduated from New Mexico Military Institute, and then you went on to complete your degree. Can you talk to us a little bit about how NMMI has prepared you, and how you continued through that program? Can you share some of the steps and what you learned while you were here at New Mexico Military Institute?
Sure, sir. So the rigors of New Mexico Military Institute, like everyone's been saying, it's academically challenging, physically challenging. You get challenged with a 2-year early commissioning program, senior ROTC, to try to mold you into becoming an officer in 2 years, potentially getting a platoon of soldiers underneath you after 2 years. So I graduated New Mexico Military Institute with a 3.15 GPA, which is decent, but it's not what I hoped for to get my bachelor's degree and to go on an active duty career with. So then I graduated New Mexico Military Institute in 2014, in December of 2014, and I started Norwich University. It's a senior military college in Northfield, Vermont. I finished my degree there, graduating with a 3.48 magna cum laude. So I'm pretty proud of myself for getting that. The reason why I could get that high, I attribute it to New Mexico Military Institute's academics. And after you graduate your next 4-year college, so you have 2 years at New Mexico Military Institute and you have 2 years somewhere else, then you can either assess active duty or you can stay in the National Guard. And I chose to assess active duty, and I successfully assessed active duty, and I'll be going to Korea, as you said, sir. So.
Well, excellent, and congratulations to you, and well done. I want to take a minute to address some of the more important things to consider for those of you who are planning to join the Army ROTC program. The first thing that I want to make sure that everyone understands is that the physical fitness is very rigorous to join the early commissioning program, and therefore cadets who aspire to come through the early commissioning program need to be able to pass the physical fitness test with 60 points in each event. And I can answer or share those with folks if they have a hard time finding the minimum scores that they need to pass the Army physical fitness test, but they're easily found online. The second thing to consider is that you must be medically qualified through a DODMERB or a MEPS physical, and you must not have a criminal history. And if there are things in your background or your medical file in your past that are questionable, we can discuss it and potentially get waivers depending on what they are, but we will need to work through some of those things if you have them. And the third thing is to have basic course credit. That is a requirement for you to join the early commissioning program. Basic course credit is having credit for military science 1 and 2 so that you can jump into a junior level ROTC class, which is military science 3, and then move on to military science 4. The way we satisfy basic course credit is by sending folks to either basic camp at Fort Knox, Kentucky. It's a 4.5-week crash course program, and you would work with me on getting a slot for that. The next way would be to have 3 or more years of JROTC from high school. But even with that, we would recommend that you attend basic camp and or possibly go to the third way to get basic course credit, which is basic training in AIT by enlisting early into the National Guard or the Army Reserve. So we can discuss more about each one of those options individually if you contact me, and at the end of this session, I'll have my contact information. So I just wanted to mention those three areas that you need to focus on if the Army ROTC program at New Mexico Military Institute is of interest to you.
Can I caveat that, sir?
Please.
He's exactly right. So I have peers that did all three of those. I have peers that graduated 3 years high school junior ROTC. I have peers that graduated leaders training course, which is now called basic camp, as he stated, at Fort Knox. And I have peers who graduated basic training. And I personally went to basic training. I would recommend that. That's just my personal opinion, because my mentors have always said, in order to be a successful leader, you first have to be a successful follower. And I believe that basic training would assist you in doing that more, if not better, than going to basic camp or having 3 years junior ROTC. So that's just my personal opinion. But
Okay, I appreciate that. That's an excellent point. Just a reminder to anyone who's viewing, you can ask questions tonight during our live hangout. Just post them to the social media at hashtag NMMI ROTC, and we'll get them answered on the air. Post them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat using NMMI Life. Okay, let's go to Lieutenant Williams, or Cadet Williams, excuse me. And now wanted to touch on what it's like to be a female cadet at New Mexico Military Institute. A lot of people don't know that we're a co-ed institution. Can you share with what it's like being a female here at New Mexico Military Institute?
Yes, sir. So it's definitely different because being a female cadet here, you're less than 20% of the entire school, but we do hold a great proportion of the leadership. It's a great opportunity for you to grow as a person and, excuse me, keep yourself at a high standard. One of the things that I hear girls ask about is your hair. So when you get here, you have to keep it in a braid. It always has to be tidy. It's easy to do. We have had girls with really long hair, really thick hair. It's not a big problem, and your peers are here to help you with it. Another thing is our uniforms. They're only slightly different from the male uniform, just keeping yourself tidy, holding yourself to a high standard because you are there's a lot fewer of us, we have to stick together, but it's really a great opportunity for us to learn how far we can go and become great leaders.
Okay, thank you. We have a question. I'll field it to Lieutenant or Cadet Lacasio. Can you answer what, or give us an idea of what the core PT sessions are like? How rigorous is core PT?
Yes, sir. So core PT, well, if you're going to be doing the early commissioning program, you'll be doing PT with ROTC. But if you were just doing it with the core, you'll be doing PT Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 3:45 to 5:15. That will be handled by a member of regimental staff whose position is devoted to core PT and the training of the cadets as far as their PT standards go. So they take a modified version of the Army physical fitness test, and it's pretty much the same, except it also includes pull-ups. So with that, they train a lot like ROTC does with runs, push-up, pull-up drills, and set-up drills. So it's very similar. It's just a little bit modified specifically for the core.
Okay, I appreciate that. Go ahead.
Can I add something about the female thing, about the core of cadets?
Go ahead.
We passed it. So the females at New Mexico Military Institute's Corps of Cadets, our Corps of Cadets comprises of nearly 20% females. However, the females occupy nearly 50% of the leadership positions. So just because the females are the minority does not mean that they won't get leadership positions in the Corps of Cadets.
Thank you. Good point. So let's go through each cadet and tell me what you like, or if you like the early commissioning program. Just real quick, in a nutshell, how do you like the program?
Sir, I'll go first if you don't mind, sir.
Please.
All right, sir. With me, I actually love the commissioning program because it has developed me in many ways that I didn't know that it can. It definitely develops me as a leader, first of all, because one, the early commissioning program provides us with resources that help us become leaders. And then with the actual core side of New Mexico Military Institute, we get to exercise those resources. And being here at NMMI, or at New Mexico Military Institute, it's different because let's say that someone goes to somewhere like West Point or at a different military school. It's different because they have one goal and everyone there is for the same. Everyone there is there for one goal basically. And here it's different because people are here to be athletes, for the ECP program, to be a prep for the academy, to be here for academics. So not everyone here is for the same goal. And so it's hard to motivate people. And you as a leader have to find a way to motivate them to do the right thing in order to be successful. So personally, I love it because it helps develops me.
Well, I appreciate you talking about the diversity within the Corps of Cadets. That's a very good point to bring up. How about Lieutenant or Cadet Williams? Can you share your feelings on the program?
Yes, sir. When you first get here, it's a lot of information. Everything is filed into 2 years, but we have excellent cadre who make sure they always set us up for success. You get to exercise your leadership in ROTC as well as the Corps, and as Cadet Guab was saying, you get to find the different methods, different ways to motivate people because everyone here is for a different reason. It's a good opportunity to learn about yourself and your peers and how far you can go and how your personality develops.
Well, that's good. I also experienced being pushed beyond what I thought I was capable of doing when I went through the program. So I think that's pretty common across the board. Cadet Lacasio, can you share your feelings about the program as well?
Yes, sir. So my feeling about the program is that for me personally, there's no better place for me to be. I really enjoy how fast-paced it is. I enjoy the challenge that comes with 4 years being taught into, along with the core life on top of it. I think that it is so great because the class size is so small, not just within Gary Owen's squadron, but also within the Corps, that all of the cadre and all of the teachers take such a personal interest in you succeeding that I think it's great for anybody who really wants that extra help and that extra guidance to become the best leader that they can be.
Okay, thank you. So we have a question about the differences between what the early commissioning program physical fitness requirements are in the Corps of Cadets. And I'll let one of the cadets answer what the Corps physical fitness requirements are. But the early commissioning program uses the Army's physical fitness test and their standard requirements, so 60 points in each event. For males, you need to be able to do 53 sit-ups in 2 minutes. Let's see, 42 push-ups in 2 minutes, and these are all minimums. And then you have to be able to run the 2-mile run in 15 minutes and 54 seconds or less. For females, you need to be able to do 19 push-ups in 2 minutes, 53 sit-ups in 2 minutes, and run 2 miles in 1854 minutes or less. So, Cadet Lacasio, can you give us an example of what the Corps of Cadets is looking for as far as physical fitness?
Yes, sir. So I believe that it's pretty much the same. I know that the overall Corps PT score, when you do take that test once a month, is out of 400. So I believe that the run time, the push-up time, the sit-up time, they're all the same. And then there's a different point scale for the pull-ups. But I believe that it's either 50 or 60% that you have to get overall in each event to be able to pass. And then if you don't pass the PT test for the Corps, they do have remedial PT, much like they do with the ROTC program.
Okay, excellent. So the Gary Owen Squadron is the name of the early commissioning programs, the early commissioning program on campus. And so everyone belongs to the Corps of Cadets. And then depending on what activity you belong to, you go off to those coaches, mentors, cadre, and they help train you in that area. So all the cadets who are in the early commissioning program belong to the Gary Owens Squadron. The Gary Owens Squadron is an affiliation with 17 Cav out of Fort Hood. And if those of you who know your history, that's General Custer's old unit. But really, that's just the name of the early commissioning program while you're on our campus. Cadet Guab, can you tell us what your favorite thing to do in the early commissioning program is?
Yes, sir. My favorite thing to do in the early commissioning program is basically we have a lab every week. And during these labs, we learn stuff such as tactics like squad attacks, ambushes. And the reason why I like this so much is because, again, it's another way to develop myself and develop others. You get chances to be put into leadership positions. You get chances to learn how to conduct these like ambushes, attacks, and whatnot. So again, sir, just anything that can develop me, I'll take it.
All right, that sounds good. Another common question that's frequently asked is the obligation that cadets incur by joining the Army ROTC early commissioning program. And this obligation is initiated by signing an ROTC contract where you are making an allegiance to complete the program, become a second lieutenant, and then serve your time to the Army. This obligation is a standard 8-year officer obligation, and it begins when you leave New Mexico Military Institute. So while you go off to finish your bachelor's degree at your 4-year university, you're already ticking away on that 8 years. So if it takes you 2 years to complete your bachelor's degree after NMMI, you're left with 6 years of commitment to the Army that you still have to fulfill. And of course, if you're staying for an Army career, then you can just go on past that. But it's a standard 8-year commitment. Now,
And that's,
go ahead.
that standard 8-year commitment is if you stay in the Guard or Reserves. However, if you choose to go active duty and you assess active duty and you successfully, like I said, assess active duty, then you get a completely new contract. Then it's all based, I think your initial contract, either 3 or 4 years, then you can sign an additional year if you choose to guarantee a branch, or if you choose to guarantee a post, you can add some additional years like that as well. So.
Now, Cadet Guab, you are a part of the simultaneous membership program, correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you talk about that and what it entails, and then kind of talk through how you got into that SMP program?
Roger, sir. So the SMP program basically means that I'm a cadet and also I am enlisted. So I'm drilling at the same time while I'm learning to become a commissioned officer. And when we talk about drill, it's basically drilling with a unit one weekend out of the month. And how I got into this program basically is, like I said, I came here knowing a friend, and one of the requirements, like the colonel already talked about, is that you basically go to basic training, and that's what I did. I went to basic training. I did the split ops program where basically your junior year summer, you go to basic training, come back, finish your senior year, and then after your senior year, you go to advanced individual training where you learn your what your job is in the Army. And so I did that, and then I went to NMMI, and that's basically one of the requirements that you needed. So that's the whole reason why I did that, is because I wanted to make sure that I did basic training. Like Lieutenant Cole already said, going to basic basically will help you develop yourself better going into the program.
Okay, so the SMP program is optional, where cadets can join National Guard or Army Reserve before they start at New Mexico Military Institute, go through basic training in AIT, and gain that time in service, some physical fitness development, maturity, those types of things. And then while they're in our program, simultaneously within ROTC, they're doing 1 weekend a month with their unit, or they do it on campus where we have set up an SMP platoon and perform drill on campus, so that the logistical piece is not as much of a challenge. But the only way the SMP program would be required is if you take an ROTC scholarship then it would be required that you join that. And we do get folks to sign into the SMP program once they've already got on campus. So we can talk more about the details of that individually, but I just wanted to touch on it because it is a very popular and common thing for cadets to do while they're here in our program. Can you, since we're on you, Lieutenant or Cadet Guab, can you talk about where you think you might go after NMMI to complete your degree?
Yes, sir. I've been thinking about it a lot. The options there's a lot of options available to us, such as Norwich University, which is another senior military academy or college. There's also Texas A&M, and then there's Colorado. The schools that I'm looking at basically are, I want to be next to a medical unit. So I want to look next to, right now I'm kind of like on the fence about it, either University of Hawaii or either Boulder, Colorado. Reason being is because I have friends close to there, and also I've heard that they're very good at putting us in a unit in which we want to go to, and I want to go in a medical unit. So University of Hawaii and also Colorado all have big Army hospitals next to them. So that's my reason, sir.
Okay, well that's a good point, is that you need to marry up where you want to go with the degree that is offered and a unit that you'll be affiliated with once you leave NMMI. Cadet Williams, where do you plan on going after NMMI?
So I applied to a few different schools, and I decided on going to Texas A&M University, and I applied to their liberal arts program for communications. I've always heard good things about A&M, and it's another senior military college. I would have an opportunity to mentor other cadets, and it's also, I'm from Texas. I want to go back there.
Well, that's understandable. Cadet Lacasio, same question. Where do you think you'll attend after NMMI?
Yes, sir. Well, unlike Cadet William and Cadet Guab, I'm pretty lucky in that I still have another year before I really have to decide where I want to go. I plan on taking that year to look around at all the programs available. I want to eventually be a doctor once I finish all my schooling. So I'll be looking at what programs are offered at different universities with ROTC programs that are going to let me do that best. So I'm still looking around, but right now I'm thinking about UNM.
Okay, good. You have time and you have a lot of options. That's good. One thing I wanted to briefly touch on is finances. A lot of cadets and families are interested to know what the cost of NMMI is. And there are many financial incentives that families can take advantage of. One of the largest ones we've kind of briefly touched on, which is the simultaneous membership program, by being affiliated with an Army National Guard or Army Reserve unit, and where they will receive the tuition assistance in some cases, and then also the GI Bill. They'll also receive a small paycheck by doing 1 weekend a month, in addition to all their training in ROTC. We also have ROTC scholarships, and we screen all of our applicants into the early commissioning program, put them on an order of merit list, and offer those based on that order of merit list. GPA, test score, extracurricular activities, physical fitness, those are the big things we look at, and just an overall fit for Army ROTC. So we do screen for Army ROTC scholarships, but also New Mexico Military Institute has a wide variety of NMMI related scholarships that you can apply for. So I encourage everyone who comes or is thinking about coming to New Mexico Military Institute to fill out the FAFSA, get with financial aid, and just see what financial opportunities or benefits, grants, scholarships can be provided through them. New Mexico Military Institute also has the U.S. Armed Forces tuition discount. That's a huge discount based on folks with a DD-214 or being a dependent of someone who has served in the military or is currently serving. So it brings the cost from out of state, which is around just a little over $19,000, down to about $14,000. So that's a huge discount right off the top for those of you who are from military families or who have gone through basic training and AIT, you immediately drop your cost of attendance. And then there are other scholarships that you can get through other charitable organizations. Many times, if you talk to your junior ROTC instructor, they have connections through fraternal organizations and other sources that you definitely want to tap into. Cadet Williams, can you talk to me briefly about what some of the most mentally and physically demanding challenges you've faced in ROTC have been?
Yes, sir. Most mentally demanding. As I said before, there's a lot of information that's being pushed on you through your MS3 and MS4 year. I had the opportunity to come to New Mexico Military Institute for a 10-day period before I was sent to Fort Knox, Kentucky for basic camp. And during that 10 days, I was fire hosed with information, but I had a great cadre, and they really made sure we understood so that we'd be able to keep up pretty well with the other 4-year cadets at Fort Knox. I don't have any family or friends over here, so I was put into a new environment. It gave me the chance to adapt and find out more about myself and how I can grow as a person and my character. Most physically demanding, ROTC does have a very good physical fitness class that we take. It's from 1545 to 1700, and that's when we go into our different platoons and we'll run, we'll ruck, or do circuits. It's up to the platoon leaders in ROTC. But as demanding as they are, we're given the resources and everything we need to conduct it and complete it successfully.
So you're saying that you need to be prepared to receive information and also be prepared to do a little bit of sweating and physical fitness training.
Yes, be very, very open to constructive criticism, and both in your grades and your physical fitness, and you'll get there.
Awesome. Now, Cadet Lacasio, can you talk to me briefly about junior ROTC? If a student is in junior ROTC at another high school or at a high school and they come to New Mexico Military Institute, is that junior ROTC rank going to help them with their rank at NMMI?
Sir, from what I've seen personally throughout my time graduating high school from New Mexico Military Institute, as well as the other individuals who transfer from their other schools, is that your junior ROTC rank, it won't transfer, so you won't come into the Corps with that rank. You'll come in just like everybody else. You'll go through RAT week, through your RAT semester. You'll become a private with everybody else. But I think that the leadership traits and all the qualities that you've learned through your time in JROTC are going to allow you to succeed in the Corps, because you're going to have a basic understanding of leadership, and that's going to help you to move forward as soon as you're available to apply for different positions in the Corps. Good
answer. A reminder to everyone who's viewing tonight is that if you have questions that you would like to ask and have us discuss or answer while we're on the air, just post them to social media using the hashtag NMMI ROTC, and we'll get them answered as best we can. You can also post them to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat using NMMI Life. Let's see. I'm looking for another question here. So the question is do I have to go into the Army or can I go into another branch? New Mexico Military Institute is an Army-based school, and we only have Army ROTC on our campus. But we do have many cadets who come to school here for the academics, for the rigor, for the environment, and not join ROTC, who do want to go on to a military career or do military service, but in a different branch. And so for those cadets, the structure of the Corps of Cadets, the academics, definitely prepares them to go on to any service career: Army, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Merchant Marines. But as far as Army ROTC early commissioning program at NMMI, it's going to be only Army. The other thing that we do have is the Service Academy Prep Program, and I'll let Lieutenant or Cadet Wab talk briefly about the prep program.
Yes, sir. So with the prep program, it basically gives you another year to prep in order to get into one of the academies. And we have many preps here who want to go to either the Air Force Academy, the Naval Academy, Merchant Marines, and West Point also. In terms of preparing them, they take all the classes that they can here, which they can also take at the academy. But some reasons that people who don't get into the academy may be grades, or maybe just anything that you can think of that might not get you into the academy. The school tries to help you as best as they can. Someone else who might know a little better than I will probably be Cadet Lacasio. Would you like to help on that?
Yes, of course, Cadet Club. So with the prep program, there's two main divisions as far as the program goes, is that there are the self-preps, who are the individuals who have most likely already applied to the academies and been denied. Like Cadet Guap said, it's usually due to grades, but a lot of what we also see is either SAT or ACT scores that aren't high enough. The school is actually very helpful with that. They have an ACT class that all the preps will take to help them boost up their scores so that they have an even more competitive score to get into the academy. And then on the other side of that is the sponsored preps. So these junior college cadets have been chosen by the academy to have one more year to again boost one of these aspects of their application that they need help with. A lot of times we see the athletes are the ones who get sent here. They just get one more year. Everybody gets one more year just to make themselves that much more competitive and capable when they do finally go to the academy. So whether you've already applied or you're coming to the junior college and you think that this is something you might want to do, there's a great support channel for you. Everybody wants to see you succeed. So there's a prep sponsor, so all the teachers, everybody has seen a lot of people succeed throughout the prep program, and you'll be with other people who have like-minded goals. So if you come in and that's the channel you want to go, it's definitely a good opportunity, and it gives you a competitive edge against everybody else.
Okay, well, that's good. You know, there's a lot that goes into this prep program, and we do have a Senior Master Chief, Scott, who coordinates both the self and the sponsored preps, and he can definitely field questions and answer questions for you if you have specific things. If you get a hold of us either through admissions or you contact me directly, I can put you in contact with Senior Master Chief Scott. I want to shift gears real quick into the high school portion of New Mexico Military Institute. You know, a lot of folks want to know about junior ROTC. And yes, it is a requirement for all high school cadets to join the ROTC program. Within, we do have the Corps of Cadets, and there is a rank structure there, but there is also a battalion that all the high school kids, or cadets I should say, are part of, and there's a rank structure that the junior ROTC cadets progress through as well. And so there are many activities that you would find in a regular junior ROTC program at a four-year high school that we also have here on campus, as far as a drill, rifle team, drill and ceremonies. Trying to think what other things. Cadet Lacasio, you were in the high school junior ROTC for a year. Can you expound a little bit on the junior ROTC program?
Yes, sir. So I was only in the junior ROTC program for 1 year, so I got a lot of the basic information that they give out your first year, all that basic knowledge, and I think it was a really good experience. It did help me prepare for coming back another year for junior college here. But I also know that Cadet Guab was very involved in junior ROTC at his high school, so he might be able to give you a more in-depth idea of how that helps you when you've been through and completed more of the program, if he'd like to help out with that.
Okay, I got you. So with JROTC, you learn a lot of the knowledge that you will hear at the New Mexico Military Institute. With that, you learn stuff such as drill and ceremony, the basic stuff that you think that you would learn at a military school, like I don't know.
No, that's good. I think we've covered it, and I appreciate both of you giving your perspective. You know, students who come to New Mexico Military Institute who have already done some years of junior ROTC in high school definitely have, in my opinion, a competitive advantage by knowing rank structure, a little drill and ceremonies, how to wear a uniform, some of the customs courtesies, discipline, those types of things. So you're definitely going to have an advantage over someone who's never seen any kind of military structure. So although you don't bring your cadet rank from your high school JROTC, you definitely bring knowledge that's going to help you while you're here. We have a question from Twitter, and it deals with the ability to go into the special forces. Will it help or hurt by going through the early commissioning program? I'm not a special forces tab soldier, and none of the cadets are either. Lieutenant Cole hasn't gotten to that point yet, but I will tell you that it definitely does not prevent you from going special forces. Traditionally, an officer will get an opportunity to go into the special forces as a senior first lieutenant. You go through the Q course, the qualification course, and then on through, if you make it through that, you'll go on to your special forces training. So you have time. You're not going to enlist and go straight into an SF unit, but you definitely can hone your skills through the leadership that we provide, the basic soldier skills that we require you to do, and then you can prepare yourself up until your first lieutenant years to prepare for special forces tryouts. So hopefully that answers that. Lieutenant Cole, do you have any experience or insight on that I haven't already covered?
Well, sir, you have to drop a packet in, just like everything in the Army. After 3 years, you can drop a special forces packet in. After 3 years, you can drop a packet to have the Army send you to law school. After 3 years, you can drop a packet to switch branches. After 3 years, you can drop a packet to switch into the Air Force. So if someone's interested in joining special forces, my advice is do 4 years junior ROTC, come to New Mexico Military Institute, commission, and then go to your next school, do really well in everything you do, get good grades, get good PT score, go active duty infantry, and then after 3 years, if you're a successful infantry platoon leader or XO, drop a special force packet in. And good luck.
No, great. Okay, I want to talk briefly about field training exercises. Cadet Guab, can you talk to us about your experiences and what goes into a field training exercise?
Yes, sir. So usually what we do is we have the field training exercises towards either the third quarter of the semester. That way we could utilize all of the training that we've learned from then on. What we learn usually, like I've talked about it earlier already, is we learn stuff such as squad tactics, anything tactical you can think of, we do. So like squad ambushes, attacks, anything like that. That's usually what we learn during field training exercises. And what happens is we are usually there for about maybe at least 3 to 4 days. And I assume that some people here have gone to basic training already who are watching, if you're interested in the ECP program. And so we just do the same thing that we've done any field training exercises. Lieutenant Cole, would you like to add on what you've done in the past during your field training exercises?
Yeah, so during field exercise, what'd you say already? Sorry, you said field training exercise or land navigation?
Yes, sir. Oh, I haven't talked about land nav yet, but I've spoken about such as stuff as tactics, like squad ambushes, attacks, stuff like that, sir.
Yeah, so you'll learn land navigation. You'll do day and night land navigation. You'll have to pass that at advanced camp. I don't think we touched about advanced camp yet. Have we touched about advanced camp yet? What that
No,
is?
not yet, sir.
Haven't mentioned it.
Okay. You want me to mention it or you want to do that, sir?
Go ahead. I'll correct
Okay.
you where you deviate.
Okay, so basically advanced camp is the culminating senior ROTC event where you get graded on your skills that you've learned throughout your training. So us as New Mexico Military Institute cadets, we have 1 year to prepare for advanced camp. Most other colleges have 3 years to prepare. So you go between your MS3 and your MS4 year, so your junior and senior of high school or college. However, New Mexico Military Institute, we go between our freshman and sophomore year of college. So we are 19, 20 years old, and we're competing against people that are 22, 23 years old, who's been doing the same thing we've been doing the past 3 years that we've only been training on for 1 year. And historically, we've been on par, if not from my personal experience. I've done all the other schools. So I'm not going to say any schools' names. I don't want to call anyone out. But we've been very successful in our prior attempts at advanced camp. And that's what you do, field training exercises in senior ROTC. You do land navigation. You do stick sling or squad tactics exercises. You do platoon exercises. All this stuff is to prepare you for advanced camp so you can be successful. So your graders, when you're at advanced camp, they'll be grading you on leadership. They'll be grading you on physical training, pretty much everything. And that's what you assess based off of. So if you want to get active duty or if you want to make a career out of your Army stuff, then I encourage you to do some prior studying, and that's all I got.
No, that's good. That's good. You touched on advanced camp and the purpose behind the FTXs and what the end goal is there. One thing I did want to mention is a lot of questions about active duty. All of our cadets do have a fighting chance to go to active duty. It's based on an order of merit ranking during your senior year of college. You put together a wish list, and a sessions wish list, and then based on needs of the Army, you're ranking on that order of merit list. And that order of merit list is driven by your GPA, your physical fitness, your evaluations. All those things roll into this ranking. Then needs of the Army will decide whether you get selected for active duty or not. The only way that you would not be competitive for active duty is if you have a control number that's tied to a guaranteed reserve forces duty contract. That way, if you have one of those, you are going into the Army National Guard or the Army Reserve, and you would not be going active duty. But we can talk about those options, active duty, a lot more once you are in the program and before you sign your contract. We can field them individually. So let's start with Lieutenant Guab or Cadet Guab. What would you recommend to someone who's thinking about coming to New Mexico Military Institute in the early commissioning program? Would you recommend this as a fast track program, or would you not?
Sir, I would most definitely let them know that this is the best option for them for a fast track program. Like I said, it's challenging here. Of course, it's going to be challenging. It's 2 years versus 4, so obviously they're going to throw a lot at you. But I like to take up challenges, and honestly, challenges will develop you better as a leader than anything else. And so I would most definitely recommend this place. Yes, sir.
So definitely be prepared to hit the ground running, but it's not unachievable.
Yes, sir. Like I said, it is going to be challenging, but if it were easy, everyone would do it, sir.
Roger. All right, Cadet Williams, same question. Would you or would you not recommend this early commissioning program? Would you or would you not recommend New Mexico Military Institute?
Yes, sir. They both go in hand really well. The early commissioning program, everyone in ROTC, all the cadre, all their peers, everyone's there to make sure that you succeed. Everyone's there to help you out in your weakest area. And as far as New Mexico Military Institute goes, they're all there to make sure your academics are as high as they can be. There's so many extra, there's so much help that you can get from teachers, from your peers. We have night study hall. There's no excuse for your grades not to be good. And as far as ROTC and your physical training, they give you time. They give you dedicated time for it. You can exercise on your own. Everything is set up for your success, and all you have to do is put forth the effort.
Okay, good. So it's difficult to fail if you are trying.
Yes, sir.
Good, and you've got the support that you need. If you ask for it, seek it out. Cadet Lacasio, same question. recommendations to NMMI in the early commissioning program?
Yes, sir. For both, I don't think I can say it any better than Cadet Williams and Guab have already said. But come willing to learn, come willing to give everything you have to both programs, and you will succeed, and you will do well, and you will grow as a person and as a leader.
All right, thank you. That's going to be our last question for this evening, but I will be available to answer questions if you email them to me or give me a call. You can also get a hold of me through admissions, and we're going to provide our contact information here in just a moment. But I definitely wanted to share with you that we're having an open house that you're all invited to attend on the 25th of March. So please call admissions, RSVP. If you don't RSVP, you can still show up, but we prefer that you RSVP. Go onto our homepage at www.nmmi.edu, and you can register for our open house there as well. And like I said, just email me your questions or give me a phone call, and we'll go from there and field those individually. Again, thank you, Lieutenant Cole, Cadets Locascio, Guab, and Williams. And thank you all out there for watching, and good night.